welcome Twitch chat and YouTube to a little bit of a special replay stream. Someone in Twitch chat asked if I could go over the 5-0 that I had with Elves that kind of started this whole train, and I thought that seems like a pretty cool idea. So what I have here is the Elves list that I started with. I think this is maybe one or two iterations in, but this is like probably the first league I played with Reclaimers. So if you've already watched the PTQ video, you'll definitely see a bunch of notable differences. Don't have Force of Vigor in the main. There's a main deck Endurance. There's an additional Visionary, one less Heritage Druid, one more Symbiote, and a lot more lands, or the fetch land mana base looks really bad. Something like that. It's like 4 basic forests in this deck, and there's 2 Dryad Arbors, which was a leftover from Natural Order. So you can see the idea that I'd started with here. I don't know if this will get posted as a 5-0 because I think there have been 5, maybe 6 Elves 5-0s this week from the testing team. So I don't know if this will actually end up being posted as the list. But you can see we had some of the main and core ideas. If you're interested to hear why this deck list is the way it is, the whole goal of the deck list, make sure you go watch the PTQ video, where I have a pretty in-depth opening 10-minute section about the deck and why it is the way it is. But for this, we're just going to go through MTGO replays, and so I can show you the very first 5-0 that I had with the deck. I had a couple awesome games near the end of the league, so if you want to only watch one match, I would suggest watching round 5 versus OU Sunkyu, who is like a challenge winner with Gak. That is a quite a good match, if I have to say so. So let's get right into it. All right, here is the first match of the replay files with Elves. We're up against Zolzolzol, who is typically a Bazaar pilot. Let's see what we got here. This will be a little bit different. I do have Twitch chat hanging out, but it is going to be using MTGO's replay system. I wonder if I consider this hand, because Strip Mine against Zolzolzol is typically quite good. So I could, like, Once Upon a Time looking for a land. I'm not sure if I actually kept this hand. Yeah, I totally kept this hand. So this is just like using knowledge that you have about your opponent and keeping hands based on that. My opponent mulled 6, 5, 4, and then I'm trying to figure out. They kept on 4 cards. Obviously, my hand doesn't really do a whole lot if I don't hit a mana source on this Once Upon a Time. This has been so long since I've seen these matches that I'm not exactly sure how they go. Ah, yes. Classic Gaia's Cradle. So I take a Gaia's Cradle and I just hold it. I let Zolzolzol go. And then, if I remember correctly, I don't believe they played... Oh, no, they did play Bazaar. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm not exactly sure how we win this game from here. They have a Squee, they have a Root Walla, but we have a Strip Mine, and HollowVine's greatest weakness is the Bazaar going away. So if this Strip Mine can keep them down long enough, we obviously have quite a strong set of cards, but we could always not draw them. Of course, I am lucky sometimes. Wooded Foothills, Basic Forest, I assume, and then Deathrite Shaman. And then from here, oh, they draw a second Bazaar off the top. That's a good one. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Second Bazaar off the top, pitching Squee, and found a hollow one. So classic HollowVine antics here. What do we do for that? Maybe we just Glimpse combo? No, I just eat the Squee. I eat the Squee so that we don't have to give them card advantage. Play a Gaia's Cradle. Play a Reclaimer, so maybe I can get a Bog if I need to get a Bog. This makes sense to me. So my opponent no longer has recurring card advantage off Bazaar. It wouldn't be castable? Congratulations, Cumans. Why not play the creature first? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't do that. Maybe I was learning. I definitely should have played the creature first. Would have gotten another... Oh, I might have been thinking that I wanted to hold my 1-drops in hand for Glimpse of Nature. I don't know if that's what I was thinking, but that's the only thing that's coming to my mind here is if I play both of my another one drop off of Cradle, I don't have a very good glimpse turn. However, I'm pretty sure I'm Rex aging here, so we'll see what happens. Like I said, this is the first league or this is like the first league I played with the Reclaimer version of the deck. So I do go for Glimpse. Immediately gets mental misstepped. And then Reclaimer and Rex Sage. Oh, what is happening? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that Cradle comes into play tapped. So we're all learning together. I'm like, what am I doing? Yeah. Classic. And then I learned how Elvish Reclaimer worked. And the best part is, it just doesn't matter. Get a nice block here. 3-4 is a really nice number, actually. I've been pretty happy with Reclaimer just by being a 3-4. Yeah, Reclaimer would be quite good if it was untapped, huh? So, I mean, I feel like any play I do is just going to lead to a victory here. Yeah, throw a Mox into a Chalice. You got Chalice check them sometimes, you know? Damn, this is not the tightest league. Oh, man, too funny. What am I getting off of this? I'm probably just getting a Shepherd so that I can kill them on the next turn. Yeah. This was a nice killing of HollowVine. Yeah, not the tightest game. Like, that game could have been played about 100 times better than it was. But still really powerful. And then to be fair, I kept a sketchy 7 on the back that I knew Strip Mine and I knew Zolzol would play a Bazaar deck. So maybe that's not a great representation of a normal match of Magic the Gathering here. But look at this hand against HollowVine. Leyline of the Void, Endurance, Reclaimer, Bog. It's kind of fun. My opponent mulling again very far because that's just HollowVine. Looks like they kept a 4-card hand after multiple powders, and I throw down a Leyline. They do obviously have Bazaar. They have a Rootwalla and a Hollow one. And so there's a game on our hands for sure. 1 card in their hand, and they have 5 free power. Forest played around Wasteland. That's good. Second Leyline. Just play my second Reclaimer, play my Cradle. I get to hold open this Reclaimer activation if they use their Wasteland. Let's see. How does this game go? They don't activate their Bazaar because there's a Leyline. This makes sense. They draw a Cradle and Pump. So now the clock is not actually changed, but definitely annoying. I only have 0 lands in my yard, so I don't really have blocks yet, but I will have blocks soon. I imagine I am going to activate Reclaimer here just so that I can start getting lands in my yard. I may even get a fetch land. No, I did Cradle, getting another Cradle. Why would I do that? Oh, I did Cradle getting... What? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know what that play is. This makes them Wasteland, and that's not good. Why did I make this play? This play looks terrible. I guess if I get a fetch... I thought I would, like, get rid of this forest and get a fetch land. Or even, like... I don't know. That play looks really silly. I'm not sure what the goal there was. Do I get bailed out with a fetch land off the top? Is that what happens? Because that play looked horrible. Yeah, okay. Man, whew. Whoever said show us this league, I'm regretting that. I don't want to show you this. Oh boy. It is kind of cool to look back and see how badly I was playing this deck before. Because this deck is a lot of new things for me. A lot of cards that I have no experience playing with. I mean, this worked out really well. This is nice because I actually get to play around Noxious Revival. Because I have a fetch land, and then if they Noxious Revival something, I can still Reclaimer. And now next turn I have like double block on Hollow one. Man, yeah, like I said though, I played this quite badly. But I get Cradle so I can cast Endurance. And I of course draw third Cradle. Play out the Bog. I don't think the Leyline's going anywhere, and it can help me cycle away and do something else. Keep putting lands in my yard. They have no attacks anymore. Never mind. Apparently they have attacks. And then I forgot to tap my Cradle, so I can't play my Endurance. Yeah, this is a hell of a league. It's okay. I'm baiting with my Endurance here so that I can make them attack with Hollow one into it or something. Probably. Oh boy. Hell of a bad match from me. Yeah. And you too can play at about a toddler's level and still go 2-0 versus HollowVine, apparently. Oh, wow. Justin's first match with Elvish Reclaimer. A beautiful thing. All right, so now we're number 2. Match 2 of our first 5-0 league with Elves. And let's see what we've got. I know that Bweezy is a Tinker player. Obviously, that hand was not keepable. This hand is a bit more reasonable. I ended up cutting the Endurance from the deck because it was a little bit clunky, not really good. We wanted to have access to it, we thought, but I found that it wasn't as good as I'd hoped it would be. And I would rather have more Elves. Always nice to lead off with Shepherd against Island. A lot of these Tinker decks don't really have those like Lightning Bolts and Abrades. Like, it's very hard for them to kill a Shepherd. So you end up like just having your whole deck be uncounterable for most of the game. Of course, Repeal technically does work on Shepherd, but that doesn't do very much unless they have like a mental misstep for my Symbiote. But of course, I could bounce in response to Repeal. Though I feel like they would... So they're actually just going to Repeal my Shepherd and force my Symbiote, which I don't give a shit about. Works for me. But they wanted to cash in their... force value. I did see they pitched a Hull Breacher, so I know I'm not going to attack with this Shepherd. What is this? Okay, so this is just... I have my 3 mana, so I'm going to cast Uncounterable Green Sun Zenith for Collector Roof. And this is like half the deck. So now, against a blue artifact-based combo deck, I have... all of my spells are uncounterable. My Collector Roof is in play uncounterable, and I have a backup Force of Vigor to kill a Citadel, also uncounterable. So I'm feeling pretty good about this game. However, I think it goes really badly, if I had to guess. Pretty sure my opponent end steps a Hull Breacher here and draws restricted card. Mr. Twister. Probe. Twister. So then, Collector Roof would still be pretty good against treasure tokens, but they drew into a Saga. I'm pretty sure I concede shortly after here. I drew Strip Mine for Saga. Does the game continue? There's no shot. Second Saga. If at first you don't succeed And then I concede. Aha, yes. So just a bit of an unlucky Hullbreaker Twister there, because we were pretty well in control, but sometimes Time Twister does get you. Game 2. What happens in game 2? I don't know. Let's find out. This is oh, interesting. I don't know if I would have kept this in hindsight, but I did. I'm not sure this is a keep. Looks like I'm going to Green Sun Zenith for a Dryad Arbor and go for a Glimpse turn 2. And I immediately get met with Mental Misstep. I don't think this is an unreasonable idea. I get probed. So here, I probably just play a Visionary in hopes that I can do a Glimpse on the next turn with like a 1-drop. Interesting. I chose not to just cycle here. I think you're supposed to play that Lotus out. I'm surprised. How do I win this game? So my opponent had a Brainstorm and 6-7 cards. And then they went Saga, Mox, Time Vault, which represents lethal in 2 turns when they get a Manifold Key off of their Saga. So what do I do here to win the game? That's a good draw. So Glimpse, Reclaimer. Okay. Okay, that's a brick. That's not a brick. Ah, it's the classic Green Sun Zenith for Collector Oof. Hell yeah. Green Sun for Collector Oof, and I have a Vigor that I can hard cast. Yeah, this deck's so cool. Man, that was just like a glimpse. I started that turn with a Glimpse, a Lotus, and a Reclaimer, and I ended that turn with this. They even had the Time Walk to kill me in 1 turn with the Vault combo. Oh, but then they should have just won the game. I actually lost this game. If they got a Soul Ring when they should have gotten a key. Well, never mind. If I had drawn 1 less green creature, I would have had that beat with a Vigor. But they just didn't get key. They wanted more content, which who can really blame them, right? They wanted to see a game 3. To be fair, I did almost have that covered with a Vigor. Oh, look at this hand. This is a classic, does my opponent understand Allosaurus Shepherd hand? Because if they do, counter Lotus is really good here. Obviously, drawing Emerald's quite good as well. Once I've drawn Emerald, I'm not sure you're supposed to counter Lotus. But maybe you are, because you're not countering anything else for the rest of the game. Well, if they drew key, they would have played it and won. So... All right, so we get Shepherd, uncounterable. Heritage Druid, uncounterable. Reclaimer, uncounterable. Make 3 mana. Get an uncounterable... Oh, just hard cast Vigor. Interesting. I don't know if I like that play more than get an uncounterable Collector Oof and then an upkeep. That's pretty good too. I don't like this though. I think this would be better to just Green Sun for a Collector Oof and pass. That way they can't go Mana Crypt, Island, Tinker. But I'm sure they just concede here. Oh, wait, what? That is a really weird play. They could like repeal the Shepherd and then force it if they had a force. I guess not. I'm not 100% sure my opponent made the correct decisions at any point in this set, but that does happen. So the one thing that could have happened there is repeal on my Shepherd and then counter my spell. But that isn't what happened. I do think that in hindsight, I could have Green Sun for an Oof and it would have been a lot better. But I'm pretty sure I wanted the screenshot of Force of Vigor. Maybe not the best. So with the Force of Vigor on the stack, they can repeal the Shepherd and then force the Vigor. So that's a pretty big reason to go for Collector Roof there. And then I still have access to Vigor on their turn. So yeah, obviously there's like a lot of play mistakes in these early matches, but at least I think there's something everyone can learn from. I don't think this deck is particularly easy to play. You have to know a lot about what's going on, like what's the range of keeps. And obviously like some of the play patterns are a little bit counterintuitive. So we'll continue watching this soon. All right, so this is now the third round of that first Elves 5-0. Let's see what we got. This is a not a keepable hand. Doesn't actually cast anything. Oh, I kept it anyways. What is happening? This league is a nightmare. Who let this guy 5-0? I kind of do remember going, oh, I can't cast anything. My opponent's probably like, why did I just get Bajuka Bog? What is... Man, leagues are noise. Leagues are noise. Oh, I do get to cast Once Upon a Time, though, because I didn't cast anything on turn 1. So, you know, played into it, played around it. So my opponent goes Island, Island, Ruby, which makes them very likely to be on some kind of Tinker deck. I'm certainly okay with my Once Upon a Time getting negated. It might let me glimpse later, which would be pretty cool. The good news is now my Cradle's probably not going to die. I do think because my opponent is on Island Island that it's better to play out both of these Deathrite Shamans than it is to play out a Symbiote. Though that's a pretty good Ancestral Recall into immediately get punished and both my Deathrites get turned off. The good news is everybody's favorite Rex Sage is here, being better than Leopold. That's your Q Cumin. To kill the Pithing Needle. Too funny. But not yet. First, we've got a Glimpse of Nature, which got forced. It's much worse when all my spells get forced. But we've got a Rex Sage to kill Needle. And now I've got 2 open mana. I can like cast a Visionary maybe. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, the Needle is getting saved. Good thing I have a backup Rex Sage. Oh, man. Yeah, probably. So my Deathrite Shaman gets turned back off again. That actually doesn't really matter very much at this point because, well, there's no lands in my graveyard anyways, and I have an active Gaia's Cradle. However, I do hold them back because it's a chance that I want to... Holy shit, that's a blowout. Well, the good news is that I didn't cast a Visionary into a Hull Breacher. The bad news is they have a Hull Breacher again. But the good news is we've got a Rex Sage, so that Needle is dead. And then we can activate our Deathrite Shamans. And we have a Bajuka Bog and a Bayou, so we actually can start eating away at their graveyard pretty quickly. I'm going to eat away now so that they can't easily cast a Delve spell. I do think that comes back to bite me when I find out that they're actually Breach. I don't know if that's true or not. We'll find out together. I think in general you want to eat 2 spells there so that it's hard for your opponent to cast Cruise. But there are definitely downsides like Yogg-Will or Breach. So here I expect an attack with Rex Sage on Narset. It's really not an easy block for them to make because we have things like Visionary and Glimpse of Nature in our deck. Don't remember if they block or not. They do block because they value the Narset activation higher, which makes sense to me, and I would more than willing to get rid of my Rex Sage to get rid of their Hull Breacher. That's a trade I'm willing to make. Here we can just get a Hermit, not a Hermit, a Heritage Druid. I'm going to eat spells from their yard. I wonder if I only eat 1 or if I eat 2. Looks like I eat 2. And then I can also fetch a Dryad Arbor at end of turn. So they're actually on pretty high clock. There's only 2 spells. There are still 2 spells in their yard, so there aren't enough spells to kill them with just Deathrite Shaman. But it's getting close. So here's where I feel like I may have... Okay. Yeah, so this is where I was like scared. Oh no, now there's a demonic in their yard. Maybe they're gonna go breach, but they're not on breach. They're on Hull Breacher Wheel, Hull Breacher Tinker. So I get this is so good, chat. I get twisted. Watch this. Watch this. This is why it's a good reason that we showed these videos. So I got twisted here, right? And I have my 1 endurance that we're testing. Watch what happens here. They twist into land, Black Lotus, Mana Crypt, Tinker with 8 life, so we're not necessarily dead, into a Time Vault. Yogg will back Black Lotus, Mana Crypt, Tinker a key, except the wheel was not with the Hull Breacher. It was with the Narset. So I drew a card and I cast Endurance with the Yogg will on the stack. And then I have Lethal in play. Magic is great sometimes. God bless. Aren't we glad we watched this now? Jeez. All right. So then game 2 versus Hull Breacher Wheels. I got this nice little Collector Roof hand with a bunch of mana on turn 1. Didn't want to draw another land there, but we've got Lotus into Reclaimer into Oof. What? How is this the line? Oh, into Deathrite? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. We don't want to show Cradle or something. I don't know. This should definitely be fetched for Bayou. My opponent is definitely not on Wastelands. We do get Collector Oof pushed and Deathrite forced. How do we win this game? Oh, they have no follow-up. Brilliant. They have Tinker? Oh, Time Walk. I'm still just trying to figure out how we're winning this game. How did you win with a Monastery Mentor as a Squee player? Are we getting bolted? So I definitely made a mistake here. When my opponent tapped out for Time Walk, I was supposed to fetch. Because now I can't get a Reclaimer activation. And I actually would be able to negate this Abrade if I had the mana. So that's definitely a nice instructional mistake where I had my opponent tapped out. I should have just fetched for a land so that I would have activation for this Claimer. Obviously, I paid pretty dearly for that, but on the plus side, I get to get a Dryad Arbor, which makes my Cradle still turned on. I drew a Collector Roof, so I don't even have to Green Sun for a Collector Roof. I don't know if this is the greatest sequencing, because we do play into Daze. They shouldn't have a Daze in their deck, but I'm trying to hit next, but it's not going. Okay, here we go. Wait, why am I passing? What is happening? Why did I pass? I have a Windswept Heath and a Cradle. I don't know why I passed. What am I playing around? I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't attack with this Collector Roof because I'm scared of Hull Breaker. So that makes sense. But I'm not casting Green Sun Zenith? What am I playing around? I have no idea what's going on in this game, by the way. It doesn't make any sense. I wonder if the video is broken, because none of these plays make any sense. It could be the video is broken. Like, these could actually be different cards that are not Green Sun Zenith, because sometimes Magic Online replays. That's the only way I can explain my play here, so... I'm not exactly sure what's happening. Like... Okay, something is wrong. Because I just tapped a mana and nothing happened. Yeah, so this replay is unfortunately broken. That is the downside of doing Magic Online replays. So what I assume is that all of these cards are not what I think. Who knows? That is definitely the downside of Magic Online replays, is that they just don't work. What is going? Yeah, sometimes. Like, I'm bad, but I'm not play no land, tap a mana for nothing bad. Unfortunately, this wasn't streamed on Twitch, which is why I don't have a VOD for it. This was me testing this week. It was the first time we 5-0'd with the deck. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get able to see the ending of this game. It's weird that it's still going, though. Like, okay. I'm just going to zoom through and see what happens in the rest of this game, because nothing is currently happening. Okay, the playback is exiting. Yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like this data file got corrupted, so we don't have a video of the second match here against Tinker. That's why I like to stream everything live, or just record, at least record when I'm live, because stuff like this can happen. I didn't record when I was playing this because I just wanted to get as much testing in as possible, but I still think it was pretty awesome to see the game one in that set. The game one where I draw the Endurance off the Time Twister to win it is pretty sweet. All right, we're moving on to round 4 of 5 here in this Vintage League video recording. I believe this is going to be another Tinker player. I'm always down to keep a hand with a Force of Vigor. It's just that good. Ooh, looks like it might be a PO player. We even drew the Collector Roof. So I have a Collector Roof, Force of Vigor, and Rex Sage. Unfortunately, Deathrite gets misstepped, but should be in a good place. I wonder if they're like 8 cast. That's a good draw. Saga. Oh, you love to see a Saga gamer. Saga is free real estate. End of turn, Force of Vigor, hit Saga, hit Vault. Spin in response. Makes sense. You love it when their lands also die. Oh, did they draw Force? They did draw Force. So they drew Force. They do have a top coming up. The good news is we have Collector Roof into Rex Sage, which are now not getting forced. So Collector Roof resolves. I wonder if they have a land to hit. If they have a land to hit, they can still get Saga triggers. They do, but instead of making tokens, they brainstorm. Interesting choice. Maybe to get rid of that top. No, they didn't get rid of the top. I wonder why they chose to do that. I drew another Vigor, but I didn't actually draw a land for the Rex Sage, which is unfortunate. Definitely would have liked a Rex Sage in this situation. But we got a Visionary. Visionary, Dryad Arbor. Playing Dryad Arbor for mana and attacking. The cool thing here is my opponent is going to fetch this Flooded Strand, and then I get to reclaim them, or I get to Force of Vigor them with the trigger, with the activation on the stack. So they draw a card, and then they fetch to try to go for their Saga, and I just say, no. I hit Saga, hit top, get that shit out of here. They repeal their top, but that means they don't have repeal for Collector Roof. So my opponent Has a bunch of artifacts and a couple islands. I get a Green Sun Zenith is a great draw because I can get second. Well, I don't think I have second Collector Roof because this is game 1. So I probably get a Allosaurus Shepherd. Yeah. Get in. This lets me draw a Cradle for a win. I don't have to be worried about a Hullbreaker or Hull Breacher or anything like that, so I can just attack all. I choose to just play around Snapcaster Mage in case they're on PO, which could be pretty likely with a Mana Vault. So I don't swing with my Collector Roof just on the off chance that they have a Snapcaster Mage. And then now I have lethal 1/1s in play. And that's a first W. And then in game 2, we're up against probably PO, but it's not 100% clear. I believe my MTGO crashed and I wasn't able to sideboard. But the good news is we have, 1 Oof, 4 Green Sun Zenith, and 4 Vigors. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my my Magic Online crashed here. But I still have a pretty decent hand. We've got the turn 1 Shepherd, so all of our spells are uncounterable. And if they have a good hand, we could die because we don't have a Vigor. But if we just wait long enough, we can get a Green Sun Zenith for an Oof. And should be pretty strong. The 4 Repeal deck is really quite annoying to play against from the Elf side of the table, because your main draw is that you have this Allosaurus Shepherd. So I wonder what I do here. Do I still just get an Oof even though they have a Saga in play? Yep, I do. And then I get to cast a Once Upon a Time. I get a Rex Sage. And now who gives a shit? It's an interesting play. I'm not 100% sure that I like the idea of Green Sun Zenithing for anything other than a Rex Sage there, but Collector Roof is more generally powerful. But Rex Sage is nice against Saga. Yeah. I mean, I don't really care about a single construct. Constructs are kind of just overrated in general, especially against our deck where we can, replay a Rex Sage over and over again, or block with a Symbiote, or yeah. I do think we might have been supposed to lose game. What is this attack? Oh my god, I have enough mana to pump. Wow. So they just take 10 here on turn 4, and then they're just dead on board. I do think my opponent probably had the resources to play around Vigor in game 1 and chose not to. So maybe game 1 was not exactly the best showing, but this is a nice showing of just uncounterable, oof, Rex Sage, pump, kill you. All right, we're here for the 5th and final replay of the 5-0 Elves League. This, I think, is easily the best match of all 5. It's a match versus the vintage, at that time, reigning Vintage Challenge champion, Hogaak player. It's a crazy back and forth match where I definitely don't play optimally, so it's probably lots of stuff we can learn. But there's just so much creature math and attacking, so it's gonna be pretty cool. Let's take a look. I do suspect my opponent is likely to be on Gak. So I'm definitely going to keep this hand a nice solid Cradle start. It is a little weak to a Wasteland, but we'll see what happens here. Opponent has Hollow One, Vengevine, but no return on the Vengevine. We hit a Glimpse, which will be really sweet if we don't get Wastelanded next turn. But we have Deathrite Shaman, which is actually, quite good against the Vengevine as well. And then, obviously, just play out this Heritage Druid. And so we have Heritage Druid, Glimpse, Cradle going into our turn 2. It's got to be crazy. We didn't get Wastelanded. That's a good sign. We could definitely get Vengevine, though. Let's see what happens. Luckily, their Stitcher Supplier hit a Basking Rootwalla. But any Rootwalla or Hollow One is going to return Vengevine. They hit a second Rootwalla. So the Vengevine comes back into play. I'm going to take an 8 here. but it might just not matter because this glimpse turn should be nuts. Let's see what happens. So I wonder if I use the shaman to save mana. I do. So I use the shaman to save mana, play a visionary, draw a card, and then I draw symbiote. And then we got Deathrite Shaman, draw a card. Symbiote, draw a card. Symbiote, draw a card. Tap 3. Untap a Deathrite Shaman. Heritage Druid. Rex Sage. Rex Sage kills HollowVine. Sure, why not? That's another 3 mana right there. Symbiote. Shepherd. Another untap. And I have a Vigor. So my Hogaak opponent had a nice start, but I kind of one-upped them here. This is so beautiful. Is this not exactly what you want to see? So my opponent actually, I shouldn't have skipped through this. There was a timing window where I could have bounced 2 elves, untapped Deathrite Shaman, untapped Deathrite Shaman, and ate their Hogaak. Because my opponent messed up their activations slightly. However, there shouldn't have been a timing window normally. But yeah, there was actually a timing window here where I could have eaten this Hogaak by bouncing 2 elves. But I screwed that up. So now I have to beat a Hogaak at 11 life, which should be fine because I can just make my team huge. I don't really know how this plays out, but I assume I win at some point. I don't really know. All right, well, everything's going in. That's an elf. I'm willing to bounce back whatever gets blocked by Gak and still be able to replay enough elves and probably not die to Gak. I don't know. Let's see. I didn't do the math. Did I do the math? What's the math look like? They went to 4, and I have 2 Deathrite activations, right? No, I don't have any black mana. So did I kill myself here? What happened? I guess I don't die to trample damage because they don't have enough damage and I just kill them on the swing back. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But that was a really, really nice example of a Glimpse turn. I think Glimpse is not at its best in this deck, but it still has these like really nice moments where, like, think when you have a Black Lotus or your opponent doesn't kill your Cradle, you can still have these turns where, yeah, you didn't win the game with your Glimpse on the same turn, but if you drew 2 Force of Vigors, your spells are uncounterable, you put a Collector Roof into play, you have 30 power on the next turn. It doesn't really matter that you didn't win the game on that turn because you'll win the game on the next turn and the opponent can't win either. All right, so here's game 2, which I think I played badly and lost because of. Let's see if that's actually true. A very nice hand against Gak. I've got Endurance. I got Hardcast Endurance. I've got a Strip Mine for the Bazaar. Would be very happy to have this hand at any point. They do have a hollow one off of their Once Upon a Time, which is annoying. And then they hit triple Vengevine, which would be quite good if I didn't have Endurance. So they hit triple Vengevine, double hollow one. Thankfully, I have Endurance, pitching the Wirewood Symbiote, and we get rid of the Vengevines. However, we do still have to beat double hollow one. We get to Strip Mine their Bazaar. So now they're left with hollow ones, 2 cards in hand, no Bazaar. And I chose to crack my Lotus to play Deathrite Reclaimer so that I could get this online faster. Once I get this Reclaimer online, it'll be easier to block. I think that's better than doing Endurance things. So they do have a follow-up Bayou, and I obviously am going to take 1,000,000 damage. And then what do we draw? Draw an Emerald. Not a bad draw at all, because now I can cast Endurance. Endurance, yes. So Stitcher Supplier, And then they attack. I eat Bazaar, cast Endurance, I assume, and double block a hollow one. I think they will kill probably the Endurance, but we'll have to see. I do put their cards back in their deck. It was like Stitcher Supplier. I mean, you want to keep them away from casting a Hogaak. So they kill the Endurance because currently the Reclaimer is not big. And I'm at 8, and I'm stabilizing here. They have a Dryad Arbor. This looks like reasonable. How did I manage to throw this game? Oh, is that the Rex Sage? Is that is that is that the Rex Sage? This Rex Sage is so good. This is Are you seeing, humans, why I wanted to play Rex Sages? Like, look how good they are. Oh man. Over and over again. But oh, it's crazy. All right. All right, so I draw a Deathrite, but I don't play my Deathrite because I want to activate Reclaimer. They top deck a Bazaar, which is definitely annoying. I don't know if I have a Wasteland in my build at this point. I think this is the game where I decided I wanted to play another Wasteland in the board because I don't have a Wasteland to tutor here, and it's really annoying that I don't. Obviously, a Cradle is good, but if I could have a Wasteland for the Bazaar, I'd be a lot happier. Shepherd is a great draw. Shepherd is a great draw for sure. Am I holding my Shepherd? Looks like I'm holding Shepherd so I can hold open Reclaimer activation. I'm trying to get this Reclaimer to become a 3/4. I also have Reclaimer for Bog, so I'm keeping that activation open as well. Again, not sure how I'm losing this game. What has happened? So it looks like another no Bazaar activation. Oh, here's a Bazaar, post-combat Bazaar. What do they hit? So the rough part here is if they pitch 3 cards and keep a Hogaak in their hand, I don't have a window where I can eat the Hogaak. They'll just dredge 5 or whatever it's called, delve 5 and pay the 2. So I could either activate right now and get a Bojuka Bog or do nothing. And so my opponent obviously hits the Hogaak, which makes this game quite difficult. Now, then the next question is like, Justin, why don't you have a Karakas in your sideboard? Well, Karakas is like there's not very many targets for Karakas right now, so you just don't really play it. You could board in a Maze in this matchup, and I think after this match, I do start boarding in Maze here, but no, there's no window for me to respond to this Hogaak. So my opponent had 2 cards in yard, activated Bazaar, and pitched 3 cards. Oh, you're saying float a mana and then Bog. That kind of counterintuitive to my plan of getting my Reclaimer to a 3/4. Oh, you're saying just eat the thing. Maybe that's better. Eat the hollow one. Yeah, so I think I was just tunnel visioned on Reclaimer being able to get another thing. But I guess I would have still had mana to do such a thing. Yeah, so I guess with Bazaar on the stack, the best play there is eat a hollow one. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Like I said, I remember this game being incredibly interesting, and I remember not playing it well. So that's why we're watching it. So yeah, that's a totally great point. Eat with the Deathrite Shaman, and I still can use Reclaimer on Bog if I need it, or yeah. So I think here I just cycle a Cradle into a Cradle in an effort to get my Reclaimer to be a 3/4, but I think the Hogaak just ends up being too hard to deal with. Again, I have this really nice Symbiote Reclaimer against Hollow One. And I have an active Allosaurus Shepherd. So the Hogaak is not an automatic win here. I don't have an attack because if I activate Shepherd and attack with 3 things, 1 gets eaten, they take 10, and then I die on the swing back. So now I have an army of 5/5s but then they draw a strip mine. So instead of activating here, I assume I get another Cradle. So this means they do have an attack phase where I can get wrecked. But they have to be careful on their attack phase, because if I have 6 Elves and they only have 2 blockers, it's still lethal. Currently, we're on 5 Elves. So they have pretty reasonable attacks here with Hogaak and Hollow One. And I have to chump Hollow One, but I can always bounce my Rex Sage and kill the Hollow One on the next play. So as long as I can play this Rex Sage, kill the Hollow One, and still hold open a Cradle activation, I can still win this game, or still not die to the trampling Hogaak. I think I eat the strip mine and eat the endurance to gain 2 life. Oh, whoa, stop. Okay. So I drew another Cradle, which I think means... What is happening? Oh, I'm putting an attack in. Stop. Okay. I'm putting an attack in. Why am I putting an attack in? Because I'm putting an attack in because I can play Cradle post and still have blockers, which is sweet. So now they're at 15. I play a new Cradle, and I still have Deathrite Shaman, Eat Dryad Arbor, pump my team, and double block on Gak. I can even bounce my Allosaurus Shepherd and untap this Reclaimer as well. So I have like pretty nice options here. However, I screw it up somehow. I can't remember how. I remember being so mad after this game because I was like, I threw away the 5-0. No. But it's so challenging. Like, there's so much going on. There's a lot of moving pieces, and there's a lot of combat math, which is really awesome. You don't see that in Vintage all too much. So that's why I was saying in the beginning of the deck intro of the Super PTQ video that I think that this Hogaak versus Elves matchup is like super interesting. How many matches are left in the round? Okay, we have time. Sweet. Because this is only game 2. And I use all my Glock. So they attack with the Gak, and I put both Deathrite Shamans in front of it. And then I activate Cradle. Please activate Cradle, right? Okay, I get a mana from my Deathrite, and then I activate Cradle. And then I have Gak dead. I ate another land. Not really sure why I did. I think I was looking for a way to eat this Hogaak, but that mana just goes away after damage. So that was really stupid. Because blocking had already been declared. The blocking order had already been declared, so it wouldn't have killed the untapped guy. So that was really dumb. I think I misinterpreted how blocking worked there. Because if I had an unactivated Deathrite Shaman, then I can untap the Deathrite Shaman with Symbiote and eat the Hogaak was my plan. But I messed up the timing there. But they didn't end up being able to play the Gak, so it doesn't matter or something? I don't really know. Wait, this looks good again. How do I lose this? So now I Rex Sage the Hollow One, and I eat the Gak, and then what happens? I attack for 3. They just play another Gak? In response to their Bazaar activation, I untap my Deathrite Shaman, and I ate a Stitcher Supplier. But that doesn't actually... So I learned the correct line that we made the mistake from earlier. But they have 3 cards in the yard, not 2 cards in the yard, so it doesn't actually stop them if they draw exactly Gak and put it in their hand. It's so funny. But they put the Gak in the yard. Wait a second. So now they can't play it unless their last card is Deathrite Shaman, which it is. And I don't have a timing window now to eat the Gak, or I don't have any mana to eat the Gak. And so the Gak is coming into play. So if I hadn't eaten that, I could have responded to the Root Walla. Probably? I don't know. I definitely threw it. I feel like there was a way I could have, and now I'm dead because I just don't have enough mana to like pump and block this Gak and stuff. So I played a Reclaimer. I have just enough to activate my Shepherd for the turn. I don't have an attack window there because I would have had to activate my Shaman, and I can only attack with 2 5/5s. One would get eaten, and it wouldn't be enough. Yeah, this is why I wanted to show you guys this match, because this match is so cool. So then I block like this, but I wasn't supposed to block like this. I don't remember. Oh, do I accidentally not activate my Cradle? No, that didn't happen. So how do I lose? Oh. So what happens here is I block with the incorrect units because I knew they could Deathrite Shaman in response to my Deathrite Shaman. So what I could counter that by untapping with Symbiote. However, if I untap with Symbiote, I have to bounce an elf. I can't bounce one of the elves that's blocking because then I won't kill the Hogaak. But I can't bounce the Shepherd because then I can't activate the Shepherd. And I can't bounce the Deathrite Shaman because then I can't make the mana. So what I had to do was... Did I have a way to play around this? What if I quadruple block? Then I just lose my Shepherd. I feel like there's some way I can block and activate, but I don't know how. Can I? Maybe? Oh, yeah. So what happens is I was supposed to triple block the Gak so that when the Deathrite counters my Deathrite, I can then bounce back my Rexage or my Reclaimer to untap my Deathrite Shaman, and then I trade, and then I activate my Deathrite Shaman and activate my Shepherd. That's what it was. I had to triple block with the Deathrite Shaman so that I could bounce one of these guys. I wanted to trade these, but I had to use the Deathrite activation to Cradle. Yes, that's what happened. And then I lost, because obviously I didn't figure that shit out, and I died. So I still, I don't know. I always think I was too tilted there, and then I died. Yeah, okay. So that was how I threw away game 2, which admittedly, I'm still not sure I win from there, but it looks pretty good. Well, I want to kill the Hogaak. Or I don't have to triple block. I can block with Deathrite and and leave one of these off the block. But sure, You're of course that's correct. But I didn't want to lose the Deathrite because the Deathrite was good or something. Did I already use Arbor? No, I didn't use Arbor. What do you want me to get Arbor with? My Reclaimer? But then I have to use my Cradle. So you want me to sack my Cradle and reclaim? No, my Reclaimer had Summoning Sickness. Anyways, that was a really cool game, and there's a lot going on there. Game 3. Game 3. I'm now on the play. I have 6 minutes on my clock, and that's important because this game goes the distance. So I have a nice 7, Leyline, Strip Mine, Deathrite, Reclaimer. Like, this is a beautiful 7. Gorgeous 7. And then And then I get the all chat from my opponent and he goes, "Oh no, you have Leyline in your deck? I boarded out all my Vigors." Which is a good sign. All right. So I have a nice turn one, Leyline, Deathrite, Reclaimer, Cradle, and my opponent has just told me they can't kill my Leyline. All right. There's no way I can lose this game, right? Wrong. Totally wrong. I find the way to almost lose. So I have 5 minutes on my clock here, and my opponent has played Scrubland Deathrite Shaman, a classic vintage start. They do find a Bazaar, and they activate. But the Bazaar, obviously, that goes into exile. This is exile. Okay, this is exile. And they are able to get a Root Wallet in play. And a Hollow one in play. And, all right, well, those are some creatures. We have a very nice hand against, like, a very all-in graveyard deck. However, our opponent's deck is, somewhere between a creature deck and a graveyard deck. So like a 4/4 free 4/4 is nothing to sneeze at, and I don't really have tools to like go off. Hey, look, a tool to go off. Wasteland the Bazaar so that they don't have card advantage on me. Or not card advantage, card selection. I don't want them to find the cards they're looking for. Hold open my Reclaimer activation, hold open my Deathrite Shaman, and carry on. What happens in this game? I kind of remember them getting a lot of mana, if I remember. So they cast a Bloodghast. Fine. They probably attack. Maybe they don't attack. I don't know. Here, I'm starting to put... So I don't know if this is correct, but basically I am trying to keep 3 lands in my yard for Reclaimer. So I fetch a fetch so that I can like have a 3/4 to double block. I don't know why. But anyways, I'm trying to keep lands in my yard for Reclaimer. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that because they have a Deathrite Shaman eating a land every turn, so it kind of seems silly. But that's what I was going through my head. So they actually hit 3 non-basics plus Mox plus Deathrite, and there are really not that many non-basics in this GAC deck. So they start casting Vengevines. That's when you know the game gets good, when they start casting Vengevines. All right, so now my opponent has a board advantage. I assume I just take a first hit. Every creature in play is more valuable to me because I have a Cradle. I'm hoping we, draw... Oh, God, I have 2 Dryad Arbors in this version. I'm hoping that we draw a creature and Glimpse. Which we don't. We don't draw a creature. So now I'm at 3.5 minutes. My opponent's eating my yard, and they have the board, an overwhelming board here. I still take this, right? Yeah, I still take this. I think at this point I stopped reclaiming. No, I didn't stop reclaiming. What do we get? We're just getting more basics. Okay, sure. I don't know. That's the plan. All right, so now I hit a creature, right? Wrong, but not a bad draw. But not a bad draw. Okay. So now do I block? Okay, this time I block with the Dryad Arbor. I don't know why. Why am I blocking with the Dryad Arbor? Oh, so I can reclaim it away for a new Dryad Arbor. I guess. I don't really know what my game plan in here was. I think my game plan was play fast so I don't lose on my clock. And then I eat my Dryad Arbor to gain 2 life, but they eat in response, so that was probably really dumb. I don't know why I did that. All right, now I draw a creature. All right, it's time. It's time. Fetch. Glimpse. Glimpse. Reclaimer. Draw 2. Green Sun. Cradle. Well, that's not good. That doesn't keep my glimpse going. I guess I'm gonna go have to get a visionary. Oh no, I went for one. Oh, I got a symbiote. Is that better than a visionary? I don't know. Untap my Dryad Arbor. Reclaimer. Draw 2. Yeah, it is better because I draw 2 instead of 1. You're right. I'm so smart. Go past Justin. Land Lotus Brick. I double glimpsed and then I bricked. And so now I have 1:50 seconds and I have no gas. And I think my board is stable, but I also gave my opponent targets for Deathrite Shaman, and I tap my Bayou. And they can pump these Root Wallas. And so shit gets real. I block Reclaimer and Endurance and that. And then my opponent eats a land, turning off my Reclaimer. Yes, I have 1:50. Don't forget that. Turn off the Reclaimer, but I sacrifice the Dryad Arbor and get another land. So now my Reclaimers kill the Root Wallas. I also bounced a Reclaimer, apparently. I don't remember what happened there. Oh, I was going to trade with the Vengevine. All right, so I take no damage, and I eat both Root Wallas. I think. Oh, but then they pump their Root Walla and try to surgically extract Dryad Arbor to shrink my Reclaimer. But they forgot I have Black Lotus, and because I untapped my Reclaimer with the bounce, I can sack another land, and then I eat their Root Walla. And now I have 56 seconds and a kind of a losing board, and I bounce my Reclaimer, and I draw third glimpse. Glimpse, Reclaimer, Visionary, 45 seconds, Heritage Druid, Rex Sage, Green Sun Zenith, kill the Hollow One, tap my Heritage Druid, go get something, get a Shepherd. 30 seconds on the clock, pass the turn, because I'm too afraid of a Wasteland. They go to my turn, I untap, 25 seconds on the clock, activate my Shepherd, swing all, but I gotta be careful on my swing all, because I could die on the swing back. So with 16 seconds on the clock, I'm pretty sure I eat something with a... They eat something with a Deathrite Shaman, and then what happens? Do I bounce anything? They eat two things with Deathrite Shamans, and I just pass because they don't have enough creatures in play. I have 16 seconds on the clock. They play another creature, attack, chump, untap, pump. 9 seconds on the clock, and 5-0. And that has got to be one of my favorite matches of Magic of all time. No pump, just attack. No, I think I clicked all. I'm pretty sure I right click, or I think I F6 and right click attack all. I don't know what the replay is doing. But 9 seconds on the clock after a crazy back and forth for Hogaak. We get the first 5-0 with this deck, and now I'm even happier that we actually reviewed this because this was just an amazing match of Magic. My opponent only had a minute and a half on their clock. It wasn't like I was playing slow. It was just the match was so much going on, all the creatures and all the interactions, and that was a hell of a ride. And yeah. So since then, obviously, the deck has changed quite a lot. And this is where we're at now. This video will probably come out after the Super PTQ video as like a supplement. But I definitely could see myself playing this deck in the future as long as Saga remains as prevalent as it is. I love casting Force of Vigor on Saga. It feels so good when people die because their land is an enchantment and they think it has no downsides. Ooh, I love that feeling. So thank you for watching to the end of this video. If you're not already subscribed on my YouTube channel, please subscribe. That would make the world to me. Make the world to me? Yeah, why not? Make the world to me. Same goes for you in Twitch chat. If you're watching here along, check out the YouTube channel. Subscribe there. Free. And I will see you in the next video.